Lut alayhi salam, you need to imagine his situation. These are his guests, and he has 2 daughters. Imagine somebody as a messenger, somebody who knows Allah, somebody who has a manhood, somebody who has iman. He is pushed to the extent to say, I have daughters. If you want to get married with women. I have my own daughters, but what you do is like a typical immorality. I mean, this is not acceptable. And then they said, we are not interested in your daughter. Indeed, you know what we want. Giving him indirect hints. Yeah? So then, and then what happened? Then Lut alayhi salam, he is extremely, extremely angry and desperate. He says, Wallahi, if I only had power, which means if I had a chance, I would stop you, I would destroy, I would punish you. If not myself, at least to seek refuge with somebody or group or army or something that come back and then to punish you. To that extent, you are immoral, So this was the conversation that was there. But of course, later angels will tell him, don't worry about it. Now, so far, what are the lessons we can take? Crimes of those people, this homosexuality, obstructing the road, and evil in meetings. Those things were unprecedented, all of them. Now, the first crime is understood, this is the immorality. Now, obstructing the road, what they used to do. A merchant, for example, comes for the business purpose to that village, and he opens his merchandise. Fabric, I mean, that time the business was what? I mean, trade was like silk and this and that, and merchandise, whatever. What they used to, one shot, they used to jump on that merchant and to tear apart his merchandise, the whole tube or whatever that he had, tear apart. Then when the owner of this merchandise, the guest who came, I mean, the merchant, he sits down and then he's almost crying and he's desperate, devastated. Each one of them comes with his own piece and says, are you crying because of this piece? Take it. Why are you crying because of this? But now what is going to do this piece? I mean, imagine hundreds of them, they come with small pieces that they tear apart, from that merchandise, the fabric, and they come and say, are you crying because of this? Again, mockery. It's not like cooling down, we are sorry. No. Additional mockery. I mean, imagine this type of hearts and imagine this type of mentality. Completely rotten people. So each one of them comes, are you crying because of this small piece of fabric? And take it. And now what is he going to do? Khalas. They destroy the business. I mean, any way they can make mockery at people, destroy their business or punish anyone, just to make jokes, anything. This was the main aim of those people. Okay? And then when it comes to evil in meetings, as I told you earlier, they would sit down and think, what else we can do? The worst creatures, and what else we can do to punish people and this and that, They used to get satisfaction out of this. Unbelievable, And then shameless and blasphemous response against Lut. Itina bi'azabillah. Okay, bring your azab or punishment of Allah if you are true, if you are of the truthful people, bring us, show us. Blasphemy. This is the kufr, this is the challenge against the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, Lut is pleading for the safety of his guests because he is concerned about his guests. He doesn't know that they are angels. He's concerned because guests is something sacred. So he wants to protect. Lut desperately asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help, and Allah never another lesson that we take, Allah never punishes criminals before reminding them. Because these people, if they immediately punish, for example, they would say, Yawm al-Qiyamah, Ya Allah, we didn't know that it was that much immoral or something, sinful. We didn't know. They would say like this, Yawm al-Qiyamah. But now they cannot say it because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how many times Lut reminded them? How many times informed them? How many times told them? Khalas. So this is another lesson that we take. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never punishes any people or anyone before reminding. So that Yawm al-Qiyamah they will not have any excuse. So this is another lesson that we take. Now, Lut, of course, was not aware of the guests, who they are. Protection of guests among the priorities, and then what else we can choose from this? Now, offering for marriage his daughters. Here are 2 interpretations. One, when he says, Banati, my daughters, some ulama interpreted the females of the people inside that village. I mean, because as prophet, he is considered as father of everybody. And why don't you get married with this, not like his own physical daughters? It's one interpretation. It was counter-argued by others because, that those females cannot be considered his daughters because they are kuffar and coming from immoral families, while Lut alayhi salam is prophet. So this interpretation is not correct. The second one, they say, indeed, he's talking about his own daughters, but at that instantaneous moment to use it just in argument, knowing that they are not going to do, to get married with that. They give even example. For example, if two people are willing to fight or almost fighting, you go and you stop the one which is more provocative. You stop him. Okay, you fight me, don't fight him. You know that he is not going to fight you because it has nothing to do with you. So similar argument. These my daughters. You better get married rather than doing all these things. So we don't know. Wallahu a'lam. So we leave it up there. And when Lut alayhi salam desperately asked Allah subhanahu for the help and openly tells them, Wallahi, if I had the power, I would punish you, or I would seek refuge with another party, whoever can help me to punish you, I would do that. This is about declaring jihad. This is about declaring jihad. It's not like just simply something saying. He reached to the level that he is ready to go for, but he doesn't have power for that. He's alone. And only his two daughters, and there is no army, there is nothing. And a huge town is of those criminals. Yeah, it's getting closer. We're finishing now. You tell me how many.
If possible, we can repeat.
Question or not? Okay. Now, basically, in these ayats, it's about the description. First, angels informed Lut alayhi salam that he doesn't have to worry about, who are angels who are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What you think will never happen, don't worry about. They will not touch your dignity, they will not touch us, they will not be able to do that. We are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have done your job, trying to protect us. That's it. So then they inform what will happen. You need to go out with your family, don't look back, go to the specific area which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them, whatever the area was. Quran doesn't talk about this. Those people will be punished, and your wife. She will start with them, but she will look at because she wants to see what happened, and she will be also among those who will be punished. The Quran says, don't look back, and she will look, and it was already clear in the ilm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that she will look back and she will be among those who will be punished. So, we don't want to talk about whether she was among them who used to commit immoral things or not, but mostly ulama interpreted that she was just simply a bad-hearted woman. Not because she was like doing all these things, but she used to observe and get satisfied of all these crimes that people used to make, even though she's a wife of Lut alayhi salam. The same like wife of Nuh alayhi salam, and you never know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may test us. The son of Nuh alayhi salam became kafir. You never know. So, waliyaz billah. So the specific description comes what will happen to them. The rock, the clay which is burned and turned into the very harsh rock, and it comes as the punishment for those people. And what Quran confirms in more than one ayah, فَجَعَلْنَا عَالِيَهَا سَافِلَهَا. They say as angel Jibreel alayhi salam with his wing took out the whole village as it is and turned upside down. Okay, whether and then the rocks of the clay, like bullets, came to them. Was it after that, or how? I mean, we need to interpret it as well. Those the one of the most possible interpretations that after the whole village was turned upside down, they say in some interpretations, tafsirs, that it was taken up to the fourth samawat, and then brought back to the ground. And those people who used to be out for business purpose, for going out for, I don't know, for hunting or whatever, those people were finished by those rocks. I mean, so that nobody of those people from that village, nobody remains on earth. But the village itself, physically, the whole area, that is today Dead Sea area. Nothing is alive there. Khalas, that even that place is considered cursed until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Now, going there for medical treatment and this and that, question arises, right? So some people say it is very good and this and that. based on the text of Sharia that we have in interpretation of Quran, I wouldn't suggest anybody to go there, because it's a cursed place. To go and get treatment from the place where all these filthy creatures used to be there and be proud of that, I would just think that, another trip or somewhere else, not going there. Yeah. So, Allah. So, the last one that I put there, this type of punishment is not limited to the people of Lut, in case people do not use their reason. If we start taking easy, well, this is his nature, well, this is his this and that, I'm not there to support this statement. If indeed somebody, very exceptional case, it happened to be very suspicious, we don't even know, may Allah help that person, it's not his problem, and if the nature Allah SWT create like this. But mostly those who claim to be of this type of categories, I think the awareness of the public and Muslims should be stronger and be more serious in terms of preventing this type of attitude or this type of thinking or behavior among Muslims in our Muslim Ummah. Wallahi, if we take it easy and say this is none of our business, these people are, this is their nature, and every time spreading this disease among Muslims, then there's no difference between us and non-Muslims, and then there's no difference between the people of Lut and others and Muslim Ummah then after that. So we have to be doing da'wah, we have to be doing all the means that possible to stop this sickness. Allah, that's it for today.
So thank you very much, Dr. Gapur. Alhamdulillah. He has made all the ayats become so vivid as if we are seeing it right in front of our eyes. And that is, I guess, with that vividness, some of you might have some queries and questions, get more insights about this story of our prophets. So I will now welcome any of you to just ask questions or make comments. But let me remind you, if possible, just state it briefly, introduce yourself, and concisely you put out your comments or questions, and from there we can get a response from Dr. Gapur. So yes, the floor is yours. Is anyone can start? Yes. So whether you go to the mic. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aiman, back student. So there's a lot of my lecturers and teachers here. So my question is, there's some scholars, maybe not Muslim or maybe Jews, that they say that the pinnacle of intellectuals is when Ibrahim argued with the angels. And they elaborate and this situation that when a person or a human is intellect enough or clever enough, they can argue with God. And that is what God wants from a human who can argue with him. So can you please explain? Thank you very much.
Let me show you this ayah, because the best argument is when you base it on ayah. Okay, let me show you this. Now, the argument that is mentioned here is basically as a plea. Ibrahim alayhi salam has enough iman not to argue in a way that we understand the argument as such. Okay? You can argue whether this chair should be positioned there. No, because people are coming. These are on our own level. But when you try to understand what's happening, when you try to, but how about you? Because your heart is so good, full of iman. How about this? How about that? Now, I give you another example. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to create Adam alayhi salam, Khalifa, you know the conversation that took place between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the angels? You are talking about human being, Ibrahim. We talk about angels, which يفعلون ما يؤمرون. They do only what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders them to do. And said, تجعل فيها ما يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء. You are going to create somebody who will spill the blood and then cause corruption on earth. Human beings were not even created at the time. So the dialogue can be, it's not argument as such. The dialogue here, trying to, query, asking questions, trying to find out more, that is fine. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leaves it up there, and there is nothing wrong unless if you go beyond. When a certain level goes there that you should not go beyond, here the angels remind them, Ya Ibrahim, stop right there. You try because you have a good heart, you have a good iman, you are really concerned about Lut and people, maybe they will come back to the righteousness and this and that. It's enough, we understood you. But stop it right there, because Allah's knowledge is better than yours. So up to a certain level, of course Allah gives freedom to have a dialogue. Not as argument. When you say argument, is like peer. You say something, I say something. Argument, counter argument. No, it's not to that extent. Even though the word yujadiluna means with his full heart he tried to continue with a dialogue. But how about this? It's more plea rather than counter argument. So that's how it's supposed to be understood. But using the reason, of course it is encouraged in the Quran, not against the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but generally, أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ أَفَلَا تَتَذَكَّرُونَ. Don't you use your reason? Don't you think? All these ayats are there in the Quran. We are not robots. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to apply our reason, for sure. But when prophets, their level is higher than ordinary people. They also have a certain, we can say, a certain area which they also cannot go beyond. They can go for the dialogue, asking questions, receiving answers. This and that. Ibrahim asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, show me how you resurrect the dead, how you resurrect it. Didn't you believe? Don't you believe? Yeah, Allah, I believe. But so that my heart will get even stronger, I want to see it by own eyes. It's a messenger, it's among the best, it's among the ulul azm, everything, and yet he wants to be a human being. Okay? So when you are a human being, you are a prophet, and you know your position is Allah, maybe somehow you may play a role to ease the punishment because they are human beings, they don't understand. No, for us, this is it. Don't argue more, don't continue with this dialogue. That's how it's supposed to be understood, not like as a peer and you argue back. With your own understanding. Yes, Sheikh.
I just want to know, do you know the average age of prophet? Yeah, certain amount, 40 years. The average of all the prophets.
When they receive when they receive, or how long they lived?
How long they lived?
Okay. We don't know. Even the Quran doesn't explain. Even regarding the Nuh alayhi salam, the 950 years is only the period which he spent by asking them for, doing da'wah. How long he lived before that to become a messenger, and after the water, all this, the destruction of this world, and then the sheep of this Nuh alayhi salam, and those who convert to Islam, and they were with him and settled somewhere on Mountain Judi, as mentioned in the Quran. After that, how long he lived, we also don't know. So whatever is stated in the Quran or authentic hadith, we take it. Other than that, it just remains like maybe yes, maybe no. So we don't know, nothing specific. With regards to our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the hadith, 63. Yeah, but all others, and Isa alayhi salam, of course, he was young. Some say 30, some say 33, and he was taken. And if you count his age, probably he is the longest who lived, because he's yet to come. He's still alive. So taken up from this world, at that young age. At the young age, son of Zachariah, Yahya, was slaughtered. We know that. Alayhim salam jami'an. He was decapitated. That's a long story. We'll get to later, inshallah. And Zachariah himself was cut into 2 pieces by the saw. Messengers and prophets, they used to go through a serious trial from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So only because some horrible things happen even to prophets, it doesn't mean it's a punishment. So if some horrible things happen to any mu'min or Muslim or something, don't be in a hurry to judge. Probably he has done something wrong, that's why this was the death. so probably he wasn't a good man. No. The uncle of Prophet ﷺ, Abu Talib, who confirmed was kafir and he will go to Jahim, he was confirmed, he died on his bed. So you never know. It's all about iman, it's all about your amal that will decide how you die, how horrible circumstance you face because of which you die and face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't judge. Maybe that particular case will be like cleaning him up from the sins that he had before that. We don't know. So we just simply ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mercy for them and show mercy to ourselves as well.
Okay, I have two questions. One, we have this case of homosexuality in our society in Malaysia, right? And you say the solution to this is we have to continue da'wah to them, right? But in Malaysia, homosexuality, the people are seen as having mental illness and they are sent for counseling, right? Do you think, I don't think that's enough, that's not da'wah, right? That's my question, because while it's still small, we have to solve it, right, before it becomes big, because we fear this punishment from Allah, right? Number two is the wife of Lut, right? She was a bad woman, right? Does it mean kafir? Does it mean during that time there was no women like Sarah or Siti Hajar that he could marry? Right? Were there like just bad people? Right, thank you.
Okay. Starting from the first question. The only thing I can say in a general way, those who are concerned about it, those who have authority in their hands, those who see themselves in a Muslim country and they have authority to do something to fight against this type of sickness, I'm sorry to say, to spread among Muslims especially. What are the measures they can take? It's up to each society and each country. Maybe in my area it would be different. Maybe in this country it's different. Counseling, talking, this and that. Maybe in some other areas they would prefer a physical punishment, putting behind the bars or something. Who don't know? Maybe ta'zir, like in front of the public, some lashing. I don't know. So that, but not to do anything. For sure, it guaranteed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish us. That's the only thing I can say. Anything that we do for the sake of improving the situation is already good. But if they stop only at just counseling, talking, and that's it, I don't think it is. I mean, there should be a complex of measures that should be taken against that. I was even told, I'm not sure, but I was told that these people who tend to this, this type of behavior, they take some pills, hormone pills, to make their nature more closer looking like female rather than male. I mean, this is already clear evidence that these people are not different from the people of Lut alayhi salam. There's nobody can say this is their nature and this is no. They are making themselves like this. Okay, so what are these pills? So who sells it to them? Why they make it like? I mean, there should be complex of measures, I believe. So it would be difficult for someone to say this should be done. Okay? So the local authority or the government should be taking it very seriously, especially in a Muslim country. Coming back to your second question, you see, if Lut alayhi salam remained with that wife, it means there was no other better alternative. She was kafira in the sense that she did not follow him, but I mean, what we can assume, because he's a prophet, he's full of dignity, he's full of manhood and iman. At least probably, even though she was kafira, she was not involved physically in immorality. All others we don't know who they were. Okay? Or maybe there was an order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to wait and to tolerate until the punishment is done, including her among the other people, we don't know. But for sure, if there was any other alternative, Lut will not stay. That is for sure guaranteed. To judge now about Lut, it will be probably just simply not right. So this is what I see. Allahu Akbar.
Perhaps one or two more questions.
So when you say about the Ibrahim, and So in our religion, we have space, and we can ask and be curious. But where is the borderline? How can we
Okay.
know the borderline?
Barakallahu fikum. Let me tell you this. I have some my students and my ex-students here. I always tell in the class. Anything that is related to ibadat and with fixed numbers. Okay, ibadat and other than ibadat, fixed numbers. For example, zakat. Why exactly 2.5%? Why you have to pay on one sheep out of 40 sheep? Why it is so? And when it comes to ibadat, why you exactly pray 2 rak'ah in the morning and 4 rak'ah and then 4 and then 3 and then 4? We don't know. Why exactly Ramadan? Exactly 1 month? We don't know. Why exactly 1 times Hajj? We don't know. Why exactly 7 times round? We don't. That is the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't discuss. Sami'na wa ata'na. Okay? In ibadat, we just simply keep it as it is, because it is narrated to us through the Quran and the authentic hadith. Another thing, other than that, only few things remain that we cannot, even if we question, we cannot find answer. Okay? Other than that, it's left up to the logical explanation as well. Intoxicants, for example, you lose your mind, you don't even understand what you are doing, and it is understood that Allah subhanahu doesn't want us to lose our mind. Intoxicants haram. Stealing is wrong, because how would you feel if something was stolen from you? I mean, there is always logical, good explanation to do on the prohibited things. Okay? لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. None of you is considered as complete iman unless if he likes for his Muslim brother what he likes for himself. Understood? But as I mentioned to my students, mentioned few times, more than yes, few times, why silk is prohibited for men? Why golden ring or whatever, or watch is prohibited for men? Why khinzir is prohibited for all Muslims? We don't know what's the exact reason for that. Yes, rich min amr shaitan, and this is najas, and there are so many najas things that we still continue with them. And I always bring this example, hyena, in Arabic we call it dabwa. Hyena, one of the ugliest, one of the filthiest probably animals on earth, based on our understanding. And the hadith, especially in Mazhab al-Shafi'i, there's hadith provided that it can be, it's edible. So what we, the chicken in the village, where they go around the whole day in the evening when you slaughter it, you cannot imagine, sometimes the worms, they everywhere. Chicken halal, yalla, bismillah. But what they have been eating, what they eat is their body, isn't it? The flesh. It's coming from it. So, khinzir. They say they found in one of the laboratories there are some worms. Really? The Japanese, they also eat khinzir, and they making jogging every day, 90, 100, 120 years. They never die. Huh? And we Muslims who don't eat khinzir, 55 years, 50 years, 60 years, heart attack, blood pressure, I don't know, the sugar problem, all these things. We don't eat khinzir, we don't have worms. I mean, it just simply, Allah subhanahu made it haram. And they also try to explain why silk is prohibited. I mean, when they try to make it very serious argument with this, I don't understand. Because silk, it's very soft. And when man starts wearing the silk, he may become, the topic that we read. He's like, come on. I mean, in the time of Prophet ﷺ, there was a case when few companions came to Prophet ﷺ, and they complained about the weather, the hakka, the itching or the sensitivity of the skin. All other fabric were, and Prophet ﷺ allowed them to wear that silk shirt or jilbab or whatever. Wallahi. Summa wallahi, if there was any possibility that his companions would become, he would prefer them to die with this test of Allah subhanahu rather than becoming suspicious of what's there. Come on, this. And the golden ring also, they talk about this, there's possibility it's soft and manhood may turn into something else, most of the criminals, very harsh manhood is there, and harsh criminals with this much golden chains. I mean, do we need more arguments on that? So these things, the certain things, we leave them as they are. Sami'na wa ata'na. All other, it's only very few. There's silk issue, gold issue, and by the way, gold you can sell and buy. Every day, imagine a man holds certain golden quantity and this and he's, offering this price and this and that. Nothing happened to his skin, So this one is halal, but the moment you put it's haram. Now what's the difference between it? I don't know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it clear. Haram for men in this ummah, in this dunya, golden whatever items to wear, and the silk. That's it, and halal for women. and Yawm al-Qiyamah will be halal for everybody. So these things we leave them aside, but all others, they have their own logical explanations. Okay? Asking questions is fine, but just one adab to tell you. Why is not the question of adab. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited, why this and that? Do we know what will be the wisdom behind of this prohibition? It's extremely important to observe the adab. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this prophet among Arabs? Subhanallah. If he sends somebody from another nation, for example, then you would ask the same question. He's supposed to be from someone from this earth because he chose the best one. But if you ask the question, do we know what would be the wisdom? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose exactly that one. There is no doubt. But why exactly? Then we try to explain the best amongst the best, amongst the best, and so on and so on and so on. At that particular time, khalas. So adab in terms of asking question when it comes to Allah's decree, we have to be very careful on that as well. Allah.
Okay, just one final comment from the Taslam. It's a question. A short one, right?
Because the cable is not enough, I'm very sure.
Thank you, Dr. Gapur. My question is because I just came to know recently from one scholar. He was explaining why the people of Lut were doing this homosexuality. I just want to know whether you came across in tafsir, whether this is true or not. The reason he gave, because they were afraid of fear of the population.
I heard.
Okay, can you please
There's nothing to
tell
do.
us something?
I heard, I was there. The scholar that you talk about, I was there and I listened to him. Because he turned it into complete economic concept. Limiting the population. Unless if somebody is already filthy inside his heart and mind, then only he will go for this type of crime and immorality. Even if you want to reduce the population, you don't have to be like Iran in that sense. We can do it in a different way. I mean, I just simply didn't want to, tear apart his argument and just left. I was there as well. This is not strong. That's what happens when somebody is not from that age. Imagine I start teaching you economics, exactly very sensitive issues in economics. I'm just happy to know the idea of economics, mashallah, yani. Every time I learn something new. But if I start telling you that's because of that, and then teaching our lecturers who are specialized in economics, teaching the issues in economics, then come on, you need to know your area. So it's very serious. There's all due respect to everybody. Okay? You're welcome.
Okay, Alhamdulillah, I think we have just been part of a very fruitful program, and we hope we can continue giving us the commitment in future programs, inshallah. And with that, I think we'll end with Tabit Farah. For students, there's some food, but limited ones. And those who have not registered, please register. Thank you. minutes. Is your flight.
They can go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everyone? Allah.
Maybe you know, they are not strong enough to in some
Oh, pagi ya. Gitu. Okay. Oh, yang sponsor tu kan? Yang bagi baju sponsor. Kan? Yang bagi baju sponsor tu lah. Nama apa dia?
Alpha.
Aufa. Okay.